This is my Makita Japanese import HS474D. It's the 5-inch 125 millimeter circular saw. And if you're looking at this, you probably already know about all the cool features on this thing, so I won't go through all of the super specific things, such as demonstrating how the sub base comes off and how you can tilt it to negative 15 degrees. You can find that in other videos. This is going to be like a 6-month review. What do I think of it? A few minor details that you probably can't find in other videos yet. So I've used it for about 6 months now, and I've only used it on a track system. I bought the Craig AccuCut track, and I've been building cabinets with this saw. Even though it's not a dedicated track saw, I didn't want to spend the money on a full track saw kit, and I really like the low weight of this saw. So as it stands, with the rafter hook and the additional vacuum port, because this does not come with the saw, you have to buy it separate, as well as this rafter hook, with a full-size battery on there. This weighs 2.93 kilograms, and that is with this Zoid finish blade. I have bought some other blades, such as this demolition blade from Japan, and this blade is much heavier than that one, at roughly twice the thickness. I wouldn't be surprised if it was twice the weight, but that is going to be not really noticeable at all. And I got that blade for cutting through subfloors with nails and screws, so I don't have to use the nice blades. It also came with a stock Makita, it's called the shark skin blade or whatever, and it's kind of a combination blade, and that one cuts really smooth as well, and that's what I use for plywood or lumber or anything else. And this finish blade, this is what I use exclusively for sheet goods, or like fine finish sheet goods, so maybe finished plywood or melamine, but I've been using it a lot on this 3/4 inch MDF. And this is, if we can get it to focus, that is the finished quality of that blade. It's pretty good. You can see some slight tooth marks in there. The video might exaggerate it, but this is very smooth. And depending on what you're using it for, you will never even need to sand that. If you want a spray finish on like a cabinet door or something like that, you might want to hit that with some sort of fine sandpaper. But for most applications, when used on a track system that does not have any side-to-side wobble, it leaves an extremely smooth finish. And it's worked really good on the Craig track system. So I really like the Craig. I know there's other options out there that are either pricier or just use different approaches to how the saw mounts to the track. Those aren't readily available in my area, but the Craig was, and I'm really pleased with the Craig. So I have this 2x4 here that I've cut with the demolition blade, and you can see the finish on that is pretty good as well. I mean, it's finished grade. It's super smooth, nothing to complain about there, and it cut pretty fast. So I'm not sure how long that would last with the demolition blade, but I don't really care. I'm not expecting it to do a good job. I just need it to cut through rough stuff. And I keep calling it a demo blade. It's actually a metal blade. It's for cutting like aluminum and steel. Now with the 40 volt version of this, it has speed control. You can pick different RPMs for your blade. The 18 volt model does not have that. And if you were to try and cut metal with this blade, you would want to run the saw on your lowest speed. And this runs at 5400 RPM. And I think that's a little bit fast to try and cut metal with something like this. So I don't think I'd try that, but maybe aluminum. But that seems a little bit fast, so I'd like the option of turning it down, but I don't have that option with this saw. As far as the rafter hook goes, I think I had to make a small modification to the underside here to actually have it flip all the ways I wanted it to go. It had some sort of positive stop, and I didn't like that, so it was just a piece of plastic that I ground off with the Dremel, and now it flips all the ways that I want it to. It tucks away nice. and adds hardly any weight at all. So overall, it's a very nimble saw. I really like it. The only complaint that I have so far with this saw is almost negligible. It's this little handle that they put on the blade guard. It's really thin. It's really small. Like the metal, it feels like a super thin piece of sheet metal. You could easily bend it if you're not careful. You don't want to do the trick to hold the blade guard open. You don't want to, jam your pencil in there or anything like that. You probably would bend this and then it would never grab your pencil again. This is something I wish they would have done differently, because like it's really hard to grab with a big thumb or anything. Like you got gloves on, that's gonna get a little tricky. Thankfully though, it looks like you could actually make your own and just fasten it in with that screw. And I might even do that, but I see why they've done it. They want it to clear the dust port. So that's fine. The length is not the problem, but what they need here is they have a 90-degree bend in it. They just need that to stick out further or have a bigger surface to grab. One of the things that bothers me about all circular saws, and I think I've only seen it on one circular saw ever, and I'm pretty sure that was a Makita, but I can't remember exactly. They had a lock open device on the blade guard. So you would open it all the way, push a button, hold it down, and it would hold the blade guard open for you, probably, around that mark or something like that, so that when you slide it over the material, it would open it maximum, disengage the lock, and allow this to go free. Why all circular saws do not come with a blade guard lock open is a mystery. For me, it makes the saw safer. You don't have this getting hung up on the cut when you're expecting it to go smooth. That's something I'd like to see on the next model. Other than that, this thing's awesome. It's got this ridiculously cool chrome finish. It's like a mirror finish on the bottom. And I've been putting painter's tape on the bottom to preserve that, and I might even make a plastic shroud for it just because I want it to look pretty. I know it's a little bit weird. It's a saw, it's a tool. It's meant to be used, but if I can preserve it, why not? So your maximum depth of cut with this blade anyway, and they're only going to fluctuate by maybe a millimeter or so, but maximum depth of cut for this one is 1 inch and 7/8 to the tip of the teeth, and maybe a 30-second past that. So you could cut a full 1 inch and 7/8 thick material and still have it fall free without those little stringies hanging on from not quite making it through the cut. So it's perfect for 1x-dimensional lumber. As soon as you get it on the Craig AccuCut track, you're going to lose about 1/2 inch of depth of cut, maybe a little bit more. But for sheet goods, that's perfect. You can still make a cut through the regular 3/4 inch or even 1 inch material without a problem. So yeah, overall, super impressed. It cuts pretty quick. It cuts really smooth. It's got a lot of power. And these blades are super thin. This blade in particular, this one has cut quite a few thousand linear feet of material. And because I'm using it in a track with no side-to-side wobble, it looks brand new. Like you can't even tell that it's been used. So except for the top of the S there, that's your only indication that it's been used. And that little honeycomb right there. Other than that, this thing is still razor sharp. And it's super thin. Right there it says on there, 1.2 millimeters thick is the width of the cut or the kerf. 56 teeth, 125 millimeter diameter, and a 20 mil arbor. And look at that, with the 9600 RPM, you can even use it on an angle grinder. No, don't do that. These blades being super duper thin, it's crazy how thin they are. And this isn't even the thinnest one. I think you can get a 1.1 millimeter thick. The metal blade is 1.6. And even with how thin these blades are, I know you're not supposed to touch the blade when the battery's on it, but with how thin they are, there's like like almost no deflection, very, very little deflection. So I think they could even go thinner and get some more power out of the cut, like less resistance from the blade. But if they don't do that, I don't see why they would. This is still awesome. Like it makes such a clean cut, and it's really not working the saw. So in all of these cuts that I've done on all this MDF, the thousands of linear feet that it's cut, I've never had the blade wobble or vibrate in the cut. It's always just been super smooth. So I'm very impressed with these Zoid blades. These are a different brand. These are Big Man. And this one is 1.6 mil thick, so it's a lot thicker and you can feel it. So I really don't see how this one would ever deflect in the cut. Like it is, you can put your weight on it and it won't bend. And that I think is the advantage to these little 5-inch saws. They're super light, they cut super straight, they don't work the motors too hard. They have really high speed. This is so far my favorite Makita tool, and I'm a loyalist. I have committed to the battery platform a long time ago. I have the whole MacTrack kit. I have every box that they make for MacTrack. I have lots of Makita tools, and this one is probably my favorite, even though I haven't used it nearly as much as the others. I might even buy a second one, just because I want to have one dedicated for finishing. Instead of buying a dedicated track saw, I might just use this as a track saw and have it mostly live on a track with the occasional use off the track. I'm not sure, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than a dedicated track saw. So I paid $450 for this saw with nothing, like without the rafter hook and without this. This was $20, and I think this was $20 on Amazon, and that we're talking Canadian dollars. So, you know, it's an expensive little saw for a circular saw, but a track saw adds up pretty fast, and the track saw is mainly only used on a track. Like you could probably use it off the track, no problem, but it's not really meant for that. I don't recommend that, but this one, I love the potential that it has for just being an everyday use saw, even though for me it's only been a finished saw so far. It's probably not going to stay that way. This one will probably get used on the construction site, and then I might buy another one just because I like them so much and just keep one for finishing. I mean, cost-wise, I think you probably can buy 2 of these for the same price as a track saw in my area. But I don't know. Overall, I love it. It's a sweet little unit. I don't know why they don't sell these in North America. Like they absolutely should. These things are awesome. Very pleased with it. And you can get it in the regular Makita color as well. But I like the black. Looks clean. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Makita pops out in the next generation. I hope they do produce another 18 volt version. I think it saves you a bit of weight. The 40 volt, it's probably a little bit heavier just from the battery, but maybe you can use a smaller amp hour battery to save some weight on that as well. But overall, thumbs up for me.